It's been exactly 1 week to the day since me, Fritz, and Thomas got our Class A driver's licenses. And it seems like such a long time ago, yet it doesn't at the same time. Now, what's been going on since then? I have been applying like crazy. I started putting feelers out. It's funny because before you get the Class A in your hands, people always say, "You don't have a Class A just yet?" And say, "No, but I'm going to have it next week." And they're like, "Okay, get it." And then contact us back. You can't apply until you have it. It's like, okay, fine. So starting last week, the day after I passed the CDL, I started putting feelers out. By Friday, I'd put more feelers out. And then over the weekend, I put more out, but we didn't really, and I was hearing from people as well. Now, following Monday, what I did is, this is 2 days ago at this point, I went to a place that was right around the corner from where I used to live. And I went in there and they said, "Well, you have to have a Class A before we'll even talk to you about getting the job." And I said, "Oh, okay." Well, I started talking to him, and he said, "Well, what they do over there is they kind of start fitting pieces." They said, if you work in the warehouse, there is a career path that leads them to putting you through a CDL school. And it sounds very appealing. I mean, going out, taking a shift, driving up to the next state over and offloading and then coming right back. Sounds very appealing. And that way you're at home all the time. Now, I don't know what the price, I don't know what the rate would be or anything like that. We never really get that far. I did apply for it though. But the decision to hire would come down from a meeting that both of them would have. And I basically at this point have put feelers out to a lot of different companies. Now, I know that I'm basically playing all of these videos in more or less real time to the time frame that I recorded them in. So it's been 1 week since my last video, and it's been 1 week since my last recording. But I'm airing these and putting them live quite a bit later. So I'm actually going to start them, since I recorded them on Memorial Day, I've started the whole series the day after Labor Day. Because Labor Day was a Monday, Memorial Day was a Monday, and so I figured we might as well do that. Well, as of right now, it is the 5th of July. So Monday was the Monday before the 4th of July, which is the 3rd of July. Mind blown. And so a lot of people were out of the office that day. I did put, I have been sending out a lot of resumes. I did this last weekend also, and, got to get something going. And I've reached out to a lot of different companies. Now, family, friends, and friends of my, my wife and stuff, they have basically been saying there's two main companies to steer clear of. One of them is Swift, which, all the memes are coming from, and the other one is Western Express. Don't know why. All I know is that I've been warned against those and said, avoid those companies. Well, okay. I have no idea why. Everybody's experience is different, but I'm guessing that there are reasons that people say that. Western Express is one of the many, and when I say many, I don't mean that there's like hundreds of companies, but I've applied for, dozens at this point, probably 2 or 3 dozen. And Western Express is one of the companies that came back and liked what they saw on paper. I talked to someone. They said I could either go onto a flatbed or I could go to a dry van. Dry van doesn't pay as much. Dry van doesn't pay as much as the flatbed does, but there's advantages and disadvantages of both. And I've talked to various other companies too. Many of them have a position available for someone that's straight out of CDL school. Most of them require you to do some sort of training. One company said, "We'll just put you out in the field for 3 weeks with a driver after you spend a day or 2 or maybe 3 for orientation, and that's when you'd get familiar with the truck and that kind of stuff. And then they put you out in the field with somebody for like one company said like 7,500 miles. So that's basically like 3.5 weeks. Another company said they prefer to start you off with a team, and then you could drop back after you're feeling pretty experienced. But if you drive teams, you're not really being trained. You're doing your shift and someone else is doing their shift, and you're sleeping at opposite times. So I don't know how that works. Companies are different. And there were a couple of companies that said you have to have at least 3 months of experience. A couple of them said 6, but most of them said at least 3 months before you'll have a position, before you have basically an opportunity with them. They don't really have a trainee or an apprenticeship program is what they call it. Now, the companies that do, they offer usually lower starting out rates per mile. Many of them don't offer any detention pay, breakdown pay, anything like that. There was one company, though, that seemed to be quite different. Now, I did go to their website multiple different times, and none of the opportunities they had listed were really going to be, I didn't feel like they were a fit for what I was hoping for. And then I spotted one, and I didn't know what in the world it was. So I went to YouTube and did a couple of Google searches, and I happened to find that company name in the comments of many videos on YouTube. And many people sounded very excited to start with this company. And many people said the job is pods, moving around pods on the back of a stick bed. Oh, I'm sorry, not the stick bed, on the back of a flatbed. Now, I didn't know anything about this. I knew that stick beds drive totally different, or at least I've been told they drive different than dry vans. They're similar, but they're usually lower. So you have to take turns slower because the load will shift and it'll just fly off the side of the stick. It'll offload, or the whole load could shift. And there's different issues that could happen because you don't have an aluminum, box van holding around the load, and you're strapped down to that. Maybe from the sides, maybe from the bottom, whatever. So it's totally different. Now, this is just going off of what I've seen. I'm sure that they are very different. But one of the advantages of pods is that, you know how gross vehicle weight rating is usually for like 80,000 pounds. If you're driving a dry van, 12,000 pounds on the front axle, the steering axle, and then the drive axle, and the rear trailer axle is about 34,000. So it makes 80,000. But pods don't get up that high. Pods might be like 10,000 for a 16-footer at most, because basically it's like they'll park it outside somebody's house. People will move out their luggage and they'll load up the pod. Then they basically close it. And I don't know if it's a sealed load or not, but I do know that it's closed up. And then basically it's picked up by a company that takes it over to some place that's going to haul it across America, wherever you happen to go. And that's what a pod is. So it's not normally, you'll get, depending on if it's a 16-footer or a 7-footer, at least according to the internet, in the videos, they'll stack in multiple different loads, and you normally will do 1 to 5 drops per week. This seems like it would be a good fit for me. I know that many companies out there do pods if they're owner operators. What a lot of people have been saying online is that during the winter months, a lot of the owner operators can't really get pods. It's slow. And that's mainly because companies like CR England and Schneider, get a lot of the pods. And Schneider is the company that I'm talking about that talked a lot of sense to me. And it was the first company that I talked to that had a reasonable answer for everything. I said, what do you pay per mile? They pay more per mile than anyone else for the pods. And when I saw a job opportunity pop up there, they offered, they had team, long haul, they had, OTR solo, or, all these different things, but they only had 4 total jobs that were available for people that were like me, coming straight out of CDL school. And then a pod job popped up, and I looked at it. I did a little research. I said, you know what? Pods sound like a good place to start because it's on a stake bed, but it's basically like a closed-in load. You don't have to, it's not like you have things that are gonna, it's not like you're moving a whole bunch of pipes or something like that on a flatbed. It's still a closed in load. It's kind of like having a bunch of little bitty, uh, containers that you're moving around. Not like a dry van that's mounted to the frame of the trailer, but it's, you strap it down and they show you how to do that and stuff. But it looked very appealing. And there were a few videos I found of people talking about what it takes and what you need to do and how do you properly secure down the load and stuff like that. There's some good information that I've seen and I've learned. Some really good videos. There was one that a guy basically hit the road and he was driving pods around, and he was an owner operator. He put up the little thing up on the screen of where he's going and how much he's going to get paid. And tell you, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It doesn't seem like it would be, I'm not going to say as easy or as difficult. I mean, it seems like it's just another thing, but considering that you're not going to be like pulling 80,000 pounds and then you're going to have to go through not weigh stations. You're going to have to go to the Catskills and get weighed, and then, potentially have to shift your tandems and then do it again. And then you have to match your tandems based on the states you go to. And you have all these different things to manage. It doesn't look like pods ever get that heavy. So I don't know that I would really be in a position. And I mean, you pick up pods, I'm sure it's going to have on the bill of lading, you'll have the weight of it. So you'll be able to see how much it is and kind of determine whether or not you're going to have to go get weighed. But I don't anticipate having to go to weigh stations very often. I mean, I could be totally off on this, but a lot of people online seem to indicate that they never really get all that heavy. I mean, how much can someone in their house really put in a pod? I mean, to weigh it down. I mean, if you had a whole bunch of workout equipment, maybe, but it did not seem like it would take a lot. It would weigh a lot, rather. So it's kind of interesting to me. I like the idea. And, Schneider started making a lot of sense. I'm not overly happy about being on the road for 3 weeks and then being off for 4 days back at home and then out again for another 3 weeks. Cause that means in a month, I'm only going to be home for like 4 days. Barely over that. Like there may be a month where you're there for like the 1st through the 4th, and then you're there from like the 25th through the 28th or 30th or whatever, 29th, whatever it is, whatever the math is. But, until you get experience, you got to do it, right? So who knows what the future will bring. I mean, as far as I know, if they take good care of me and stuff, it may be a good fit, just sitting on the, getting on the road and staying on it for a while. I don't know. It may be that I do it for a little bit and then a regional opportunity with weekends at home pops up and I could transfer. That is always a possibility too. Once you kind of get in with the company, you can kind of put feelers out and say, hey, if you have an opportunity, or I could even, keep the tab open on my computer and then just hit refresh every day. And then if I see something, say, hey, I'd like to put in for this. How do I do that? So, that kind of thing. I'm looking at it. But regardless, I did accept a position with Schneider. I'm a little nervous about being on the road away from everybody. I'm very outgoing, so the idea of being on the road for 3 weeks away from everyone and stuff like that doesn't sound appealing, but who knows? I'm the kind of person that I go with the flow. I'm easygoing, and I may find CB radios to be the best thing in the world. I used to love them back in the 90s. I mean, I may jump on the thing and just love every single day. It's like a soap opera or something like that. Who knows? There may be even guys that I start to, that are stopping at the same places that I do, that we do a long haul and we just sit there and talk all day long, or I just listen to them all day long. What I do know is that I'm probably going to have to get a subscription to Audible or something like that and just listen to audiobooks. I could definitely do that too. I might start off with going through the rest of my audiobooks that I have in my library. But if I'm driving like, 8-10 hours a day or whatever it happens to be, I'm going to go through them real quick. So it's exciting. It's neat. It's going to be an experience. And I'm going to get a chance to see a lot of really cool things. Now, granted, I'm not going to be stopping. I mean, you can't really, you're driving through a city, you're not going to suddenly, stop and say, oh, look at this. I've been to this city now. I mean, you've driven through it. So, I mean, it's not like you're on vacation, but it'll be neat. And some things I've kind of, looked at videos about and people have talked about when you do long hauls, like if you've scheduled, if you can try to schedule, like one of the big pieces of advice was that if you're approaching a big city and you're going to be going through that city, then what you need to do is consider stuff like big cities are going to have rush hours. So if you finish the day you're driving, you could finish at 5 or 6 p.m. and then, go to sleep and wake up and get out there and then go through rush hour traffic in the morning. Or you could try to schedule it so that way you get through the city at rush hour, then you stop for the night. That way you wake up the next morning and you're out of the city. You don't have to deal with rush hour. You just hit the road and you go. And you're not starting off your day and saying, oh, geez, why are we starting off, so slow and whatever. You just go. Little tidbits of knowledge like that are cool. And I'm looking forward to learning how to do the road planning and stuff like that, because I know there's a bit of a skill behind that. Now, I also know that I'm going to have to, that with Schneider, I'm going to most likely be driving what they told me I was going to be driving is within the last 2 years, it's going to be either, something released in the last 2 years, and it will be a Freightliner Cascadia. So I've watched a few videos about that, the tours, the 22 model, the 23 model, and the 24 model, because I'll probably get one of those if I'm getting something in the past 2 years. And they look like neat machines. There's a lot of really, really cool things about it. And waiting to see how it's outfitted, wait to see what all they give you. Obviously it's going to be where your office and your home when you're on the road. So it's going to be neat to see how it's going to be set up. They seem to take care. It says something like you have an 8-inch memory foam mattress, something like that. Normally, I'm not a fan of memory foam because it gets hot, but since you have climate control with an APU, then it seems like it's probably going to be good. So just, make it nice and cool at night, pull up your blanket or whatever, and there you go. Or if it's cold outside, turn on the heat a little bit, pull the blanket up. Big thing it's going to be for me is trying to figure out a routine. Like, I don't know. I know that by the time you're watching these, I will have already been on the road. And most likely, I will be editing these videos in the truck at night when I'm on the road, stopping. And this is going to be during my downtime overnight. I don't know how well my laptop is going to take to editing. I know in the past, sitting there with doing this and I'm probably going to have to get a mouse in a little bit. I don't know what the space is going to be like. I don't know, I've seen like a video where there's a little pull-out table type thing, but I don't know if it's like a little pull-out drawer and how much space is there really going to be. I'm not the kind of person that's going to want to lay down and edit on my belly, looking up at the laptop. That's not me. I'd sit at the edge of the bed, but then I don't know. I'd have to figure it out. What I do know that it is of right now, it is Wednesday. 2 Mondays from now is when I start 19 days worth of training. Now, what the person that hired me said is that I'm going to go in for the first week. They're going to go over paperwork, talking to me and telling me about procedure. They'll go over different things that we need to know about, new hire paperwork, medical, DOT, all that kind of stuff, hire follicle test, that kind of stuff. I'm boring, so I'll pass all that with flying colors. I mean, take all the hair you want to, take it, take it out of my nose, take it off my chest, something like that. You're going to still not get anything because I'm boring. I don't smoke, drink, do drugs, any of that stuff. So never have, never will. But I'll tell you this. it'll be a totally different, reality change for me. I'm going to have to get an external hard drive, load it up with footage, and see if I can edit. And who knows? It may be the kind of thing where my laptop is so slow to render things, I may end up having to set it up, click render, and then drive and drive a few hours. I don't know. I'm going to have to figure it out. And then when I come home every 3 weeks, I'll spend a lot of time uploading. I don't know. Have to figure it out. What I do know is that as of right now, they're going to be sending me to what they call Schneider City, which is their training grounds in Atlanta, since I live on the outskirts of Atlanta. So I will go there. I'll be put through ropes. The second week, I think they said, is when we're going to be learning about, it's going to be hands-on, learning how to secure pods. We'll learn about, procedure and what we need to do with regards to the trucks and things like that. We'll be doing the logs and stuff like that first week. Third week, I think that they said we'll be doing, maneuvers and stuff like that. We'll be doing simulators and stuff week 2, I think also. And then by week 3, they'll be putting us on simulators and in their yard practicing. And then the last 5 days I'll be out on the open road, most likely with the trainer. And that trainer will be, I don't think trainers, it's a team thing, because I think the trainer would have to be watching you. And if you're team driving, then you're sleeping at opposite times. So I don't know what kind of a training experience that would be. But I mean, hey, I don't know. I'm new to this. I can speculate all day long. Doesn't mean I'm going to be right. And usually if you speculate and you take guesses, you'll be wrong, right? So don't assume. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what the future is going to bring. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's going to be like. I tell you, the trucks look really nice when you see them online. Now, granted, those are the brand new showcase videos of, brand new trucks, and and even Schneider has a video about the 2022 model and how it's set up. And this guy kind of does an overview of everything. I think he's a trainer named Steve, if memory serves, and he goes over it and talks a little bit about the way that they're set up for Schneider. And it looks like, it's not a manual. I really like to drive a stick. It's really nice, but who knows? I won't have any restrictions on my license. I'm looking forward to actually getting it. I'm hoping it arrives in the mail. They said 10 days. Hopefully it'll arrive before the end of the week. I'd really love nothing more than to see it, and to be able to replace my old Class C and my CDL in my wallet with the Class A. I did. I also have been asking some people, and some people just copy their medical card and then put it in their wallets, paper. Some people actually shrink it down and get an actual card made out of it. One person said that he has his that's basically tri-folded, so he got it in that size, and then he just basically folds it up on itself and puts it in his wallet. That sounds to me like the best approach. So what I'm going to do is I've already scanned my medical card, my DOT medical card, and I'm going to take it to probably a FedEx office and print or something like that, and I'm going to have it shrunk down. I'm already going to do that, and then I'm just going to basically say laminate this. And I'm going to see if it's possible to laminate and get just a little printout, just if I can get it printed out in a little small thing, and then get that laminated. That's what I would like. I got to call them tomorrow and see if that's a possibility, because if I can take that and tri-fold that into my wallet, it'd be nice. I also need, one of the other things I need to do is, piece of advice that I've been given is to get on all the different apps. Get on Flying J's app, get on the Loves app, get all that, get points going. So that way, if I go there as I'm starting to buy diesel for Schneider as I'm out there, I guess it's on their card, or if that, or there's a reimbursement. I don't know how it works. All I know is that there'll be some sort of a thing, but I'll be able to get points for it. So if I pull up there, I can maybe use points to. I think one person online said that you can you can use your points to get to make sure you have a spot for the night. So like if you go there and there's like no spots available, you can like use points and get one of their special reserve spots or something to make sure you get a place for the night every now and then. That's something you can spend points on or something. I don't know. I have to figure it out. But every company is different, and supposedly there's a few different things that you might as well get points, reward points for it. One person even said that it gives you like a discounted meal or something like that if you want to go inside one of these places. But I don't know. We'll see. As of right now, I just kind of imagine myself drinking mainly water and having some electrolyte powder that I can add to it for flavor. And then aside from that, throw in like, I don't know, a bunch of Hot Pockets in the refrigerator, and then use it in the microwave every single day. I don't know. I can't imagine myself wanting to eat really all that expensive on the road. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there's going to be some really cool places that I could be going through. And I know people all over the country, so it'd be kind of neat if I could somehow be stopping in a town for a night and I could work it out so that way I might have dinner with a friend or something like that I know throughout the country. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'll even be lucky and be able to do a 34-hour reset someplace in a town where I know somebody and I can hang out with them. We'll see what happens. What I do know, though, is that OTR for Schneider is going to be in my near future. And just over a month from now, I'll be out on the road by myself. In about a month from now, I'll be starting that week, or I'll be about to start the week out with a trainer. So we'll see how that goes. Looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, so after I accepted that job this morning, a couple of the people that were the week behind me in the CDL school, they were manual transmission also. I knew they were going to be testing, so I did reach out to the instructors and I said, hey, when are they testing? And so I did go by the DDS today. By the time I was able to get out there, because I basically left and talked to Schneider for over an hour, and so that delayed my time getting out there. But I got there. One guy had just come in from testing, and he sat down and he says, a pass. I'm like, well, I had no doubt. He was ready to go. His name is Zach. Ready to go. He's real clever guy, really smart guy. Good at his maneuvers. He's the real deal. He's going to do really well. And he starts with his dad's freight company on Monday. So he literally got a CDL and he's starting with them on Monday on the long haul. It's amazing. Good job. And then the other person, I went there and basically after I talked to Zach for a little bit, I went outside and bless her heart, I think she overthought some stuff. She did her pre-trip. I think she overthought it. By the time she got to maneuver, she missed some of the directions because she did her straight back and that was fine. When she did her offset, she wasn't paying attention to the instruction. And when they said you're going to be lining up and going straight back, she just kept going. She kept thinking you have to go straight back and just and go straight back and just keep going. And all you have to do is just do your offset set behind the first set of cones. And I was over there just cringing with the other instructor, Jason, and we were just cringing, saying, stop, blow the horn, don't keep going back, don't do this, don't turn your wheel, because she kept hitting, she would hit a cone and then she'd pull forward, then she'd back up again. And as she was trying to back all the way through the whole thing, then and we're just like, we're counting the points and we're like, oh no, she's starting to, what's going on? Just hit the horn, but she never did. Until she was finally done, hit the horn when the guy at the DDS said, you did hear the instructions I gave you at the beginning, right? And she's like, no, I didn't. It's like, you just have to be behind the front two cones. And she's like, are you kidding me? He's like, and that's when she realized that she was trying to do something she didn't have to do. She had it. She's really smart. She overthought it. And she was still in pre-trip mindset. She was just so spun around and twisted around by preset. Is that what I said? Pre-trip. That she wasn't able to let go a couple little mishaps but she corrected and she still passed and went on. But she missed, she wasn't thinking about the direction. She wasn't listening to everything. And she missed that one big thing because she would have had it. She got alley docking, which is not her strength, just like me. But she backed up. She only had 1 point left though. You only get 2 pull-ups. And if you do a third pull-up, there's your last point. And she here's the alley dock. She pulled up to like here, barely missed it by, like 10, 15 feet past it. And she was trying to turn and she way overshot. So she realized it real quickly, pulled forward to an adequate space and then started to do it. She started coming a little steep. She pulled forward again and got in that line and she started to do it. At this point, I didn't realize that she was out of points. And I'm saying, good, you got this, you got this, you got it. Just back up. Keep it going. Now pull forward. Now you got it. But she never pulled forward. Came to realize it was because she had used 3 pull forwards. You get 2 free. The third one cost her that last point. And the best thing she had going for her was trying to see if she could keep it in reverse and wiggle that truck back into position. But she encroached on one of the cones, had the horn, had the whistle blown, and that was it. She's got it next time. She overthought it. She's not going to have to deal pre-trip next time. She's just going to go right into maneuvers. Then she's going to hit the road and she'll be fine on the road. Anyway, I showed up for her and to support her and Zach today. And right after she didn't pass, it started a torrential downpour, and I talked to her for quite a bit. I said, "Get in your truck." She got in her truck and rolled down her window, and I felt bad because she was getting rained on, and her truck was getting wet on the inside. She had put a towel in the window. Talking to her for a bit, I got completely drenched. Torrential downpour. She's a nice person. Her husband's a truck driver. She's really smart. She's going to get it next time. But anyway, I went to support them. And I don't live near them, but I went up there to support them. And if I can, I'll find out when she's going to go again, and I'll go out there again, and we'll see what happens. So she should have this next time. We'll see what happens. Because it basically means that if I can, I may end up being in the middle of doing stuff. Because once I start the basically 4 weeks of training, which is as long as it was for the first vlogs here. Now, I'm not going to do vlogs of every single day in their training. I'm probably going to do an end of week recap because there's probably proprietary information that they would not want me to reveal and they would not want spoken and said. But what I will say is that I'll probably do a general type overview of what it is that I did in the week. And I'll do that probably at the end of each week that I do. I will probably do one more vlog before I start, kind of going over anything that I need to basically say before I get ready to start training. So yeah, there we go. That's what we're dealing with here. That's where we're at. 1 week later, accepted a job with Schneider. I'm looking forward to it.